Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Wireless Podcast. I will confess this is the fourth time that I re-record the same fucking video. I'm kind of sick of it. I feel like this happens every time I talk about Love Island. There's just like so many like topics that could be taken the wrong way, so many things that could like be blown out of proportion, and I just feel like the past 4 fucking times, like 3 times, I haven't necessarily like narrated exactly what I mean in the best way possible. I tend to like just go on and on and on and on, right? So let's get started. I took some notes, and then I also have a few notes that I hope I don't forget, because I did take them kind of like mentally. Anyway, let's get started by everybody looked absolutely stunning. I absolutely loved what like the vibe and the looks that the girls brought in. Like 10 out of 10. I love it. But just like let's go straight into it. I hope I don't have anything on my teeth. I just ate before I did this because I feel like I was getting a little hangry from trying and like not getting it right, to be quite honest with you. I hope that's relatable to some of you. But okay, at the beginning we have the final four. Everyone's looking absolutely amazing. You can feel the love in the air and a little bit of tension too, but we'll get into that later. It's just like so cute, so lovey-dovey. Everyone's getting like really cute clips of how they met, like how everything went, and then how like they close things off. For those who close things off, which I actually don't think any of like the final four close anything off, but you know what I mean, like just like the overall like lovey-dovey vibe. And then all of a sudden like we get to fucking Huda and Chris, and for some reason it's just like all the negative stuff, specifically like just like Huda just speaking, you know what I mean? Whether it's her denying like giving a kiss in public, which we all understand like why that happened, right? Like I hope we understand. If you don't get it, like let me know in the comments and like I'll give you a lesson. Anyway, it's just like her setting her boundaries straight, her not feeling comfortable doing certain things, her like communicating she doesn't feel like that connection is the right one for her, and like breaking things off with Chris. And it was just like from the start, bitch, I understood the vibe that they was gonna bring to this reunion, right? But it's okay. We smile and wave, we smile and nod, right? Let's move on to the next one. Nick not talking to Sierra. This one might be a little bit of a hot take. I hope not. As like a girl and girl, I hope not. But let's get into it. Nick is the exact archetype of person that us girls shit talk about online. Does that make sense? Meaning, if you had a significant other and you had a very close friend that both you and your significant other were close with or just like friendly with, and all of a sudden something that you did in your past came up, which is making people question like how they feel about you, and then all of a sudden your partner, who's supposed to support you through everything, leaves you, doesn't give you an explanation as to why, and immediately goes to your best friend. That's a little weird. That's a little questionable. I feel like if this happened to me, to you, to your friend, to your sister, your brother, whoever, we would be upset. We would be mad. We would be like, fuck that hoe. But the like that wasn't your friend to begin with, and that guy, he's a hoe. He's dirty. So why is it that we're applauding it when Nick is doing it to Sierra? Just because he's with Alondria. When in real life, in that same scenario, that same situation, we wouldn't be applauding it. Makes me raise an eyebrow. Makes me question the morality of a lot of you. Or, should I say the double standards that a lot of people have online. But also, I feel like it's very important for me to let it be known that I don't like Sierra. I've never liked Sierra. If you, go to my TikToks and you see, what I was seeing, every night that an episode was coming out, 9 times out of 10 I was talking about Sierra. I feel like Sierra was very much that character, that girl that just knew how to dress very well and knew how to look appealing to the human eye. And women like that tend to benefit from pretty privilege. People are oh my gosh, she's so iconic. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Oh my god, I love she ate, So I feel like she was getting away with a lot of shit. She was very calculated from the beginning. I remember I shared my thoughts online and people agreed, and I also shared my thoughts to my lash tag and some of my clients, and they also agreed. And they started thinking the same thing after I pointed certain things out. So I just want to let it be known that even before the whole racism shit with Sierra came out, I did not like her. And now I like her even less. So don't come at me thinking that I'm defending Sierra. I'm simply stating that the whole Nick situation was super shady, and the way you get them is the way you lose them. Let us not forget. Now let's move on. Another thing too with this whole like Nick and Alondra situation, and I want to make a side note here. I'm not like obsessed with them, and I'm not like a hater or anything. I just like, let's agree that in the beginning of the episode, like they were showing a lot of Nick and Alondra content, of course. It's one of like their successful stories. They want to push it out to the people. The people want to see it. They're gonna show it, right? Okay, great. Continuing on, I feel like with Alondra's position with Nick is very similar to that of like Taylor's position with Alondra, where we all know that he was never like physically attracted to her, but you could tell he was trying. Alondra's giving that same vibe. She's not necessarily there with Nick, but she's trying. Because every time that, like, when they got dumped from Casa and, like, they were told to, like, get together or leave the villa, they got together. Okay, good. Fire pit scene. Oh, my God, Alondra and Nick, I see you guys chose to couple up. How are you guys feeling right now? Nick is always the one to just put it out there. Like, yeah, I feel good. Okay, like, I'm excited to, like, explore this connection. Where as Alondra, and I understand that it could be different personalities, but this seems to be a trend. She was not like this with Taylor at all. Actually, when it was between Taylor and Alondra, Alondra was in Nick's position. And right now, she's in Taylor's position. She wasn't very vocal. All of a sudden, she's looking like, what do you think? Or like, yeah, like, I guess it's like, it's okay. You know, it's just like super weird. And you see this happen again in the reunion when Andy is like, Alondra, like, how did you feel about the whole, how do you say? How did you feel about the whole journey? And she's like, what journey? And he's like, you know, how everything played out. Oh, looks at Nick like, it's just like, it's so weird. Again, it's giving like you're trying to like this boy, but you don't fuck with him. But that could just be me. Honestly, I'm trying to go like in order. With that whole thing being said about, like, that weird dynamic of, like, Taylor, Alondra, Nick, you know, and Clark, there is a conversation that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And before I get into it, I want to share why it rubbed me the wrong way. Because some people, if I just, like, say what it is, like, some people might take it in the wrong way that I want to give it. You know what I mean? So, let's backtrack, or let's, like, think overall, like, the general, like, idea and vibe of this reunion. Okay, a lot of people are seeing it. I hope that you are as well. In a reunion where you have Shelly and Alondra coming into this kind of wanting to clear their image from that bully and mean girl energy, it's very odd to get that mean girl energy out to the person who's asking for forgiveness or clearing things out with you. Okay, I feel like what I'm about to say is something that only like a mean-spirited person would do, because if you're someone who doesn't like to burn bridges, if you're somebody who like you like healthy communication, you wouldn't respond like this, even if you don't agree with what's being said to you. One thing is defending yourself, another thing is just being shady because you want to be shady, right? Even if you don't clock it about yourself. But it's like, these are the traits that make someone look like they're a mean girl. These are the traits that make someone look like a bully. And now we're gonna get into it. Andy looks at Taylor. Hey, Taylor, were your intentions with Alondra in the beginning of the show real? Like, were they, you know, did you have good intentions? Taylor's like, yeah, I really did in the beginning, you know. And then Andy kind of steers this conversation into, okay, well, you shared with your friends that you weren't physically attracted to her. At what point were you going to say this to Alondra, right? And Alondra also later on in this conversation brings that aspect up, right? Taylor says, I just never found the right time for it. Fair. I don't necessarily love that, but fair. I feel like he took the easy way out in that conversation for sure. I feel like he was never going to tell her, but that's just me. Okay, going back to it. You know, I just didn't find the right time, whatever. And then Alondra kind of says, like, yeah, I felt like he had the right intentions up until I saw that he wasn't physically attracted to me. She defended herself. Had I known that that's what this was, I would have never, like, went into it, because, like, what do I look like to you? Honestly, that's extremely real. We can all agree that Alondra is, like, totally in the right here. Good. Well, now we get to this point where I'm not sure if it was Andy or if it was Ariana. Where do you guys stand now? Is there, like, you know, bad blood? Are you guys cordial with each other? And then I guess Taylor took this as, like, the point of, like, apologizing and clearing the air regarding that whole, like, I'm not physically attracted to Alondra right now situation. And he says, yeah, that's my dog. And all you get from Alondra is the stank ass side eye.
You said my dog.
Sorry, babe. I thought that you weren't like a mean girl. Sorry, mama. I thought that you were like a nice little like sweet angel. Like any like sweet like look, let's use Hannah as an example. Or actually, who else can I use as an example? I don't know. I feel like Hannah had like the perfect storm to like crash out in this or like blame people, but she didn't. She was like, you know what? Like I can't get mad at anybody. Like we all went through our own like situations, and I understand this is just kind of how this goes. Like, but whatever. Like I love everybody. Whereas you have somebody clearing something up with Taylor. I mean, Taylor clears something up with Alondra, and all you get from Alondra is like, it's like so uncomfortable. It was such a hard watch. It was so uncomfortable. Even Ace had to kind of step in and be like, should we clap? Like, you know, crack a joke, because like there was tension in the air, and we moved on from it. I just thought that was so odd. These are the kinds of things that I feel like go over people's heads, but when I see it, I'm kind of like, I see you. I see you. These are the little cracks that form that full image of who you really are. You know what I mean? Like, it's odd. Again, let's remember, she's trying to clear her image from the mean girl situation. Those assumptions is what she's trying to clear up, and she's looking for apologies, and like she's looking for explanations as to why anybody could ever think that of her. But like, these are the responses that she's giving people. I'm not saying that these things equal, yes, you're definitely a bully, but these things are only correlated with people who have that mean girl essence to them. Only those people give those responses out like that. Unless it's like a nice bitch that just keeps being pushed. But like at no point did we see her being pushed. Do you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of things also like might have been internalized. I know this is a very difficult situation to be in. Like everybody's just looking at your every move, every conversation for like how many months, you know. It can be very exhausting. It could be very like detrimental to somebody's emotional state. Trying to like be composed is like trying to stay composed for that long and trying to be like the biggest person could definitely like bring you to like the boiling point quicker than you would if you would just be like behind closed doors and like more comfortable in your surroundings. But I just like, again, babe, like you're coming here to like clear your image and you do that. It's to me very weird. So I'm going to talk about it. Another thing that I found very weird was the Huda and Netflix comment. Not that Huda said that, but like the backlash she's getting from saying that, like, sorry, can't a girl who has millions of followers not have, like, a contract with Netflix? Mind you, they're asking her, hey, like, what, we see you making public appearances, so, like, what's your status? Babe, like, she was put on a contract with Netflix. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost like the guy that we've seen her in public with, like, isn't on a, like, dating show on Netflix. That, at that point, or to this day, like, hasn't finished. You know what I mean? Of course she's, like, on a contract. And here you have Andy, like, well, let Netflix know that Peacock is, like, the #1 streaming service. Haha. Like, babe, it's, like, not even, like, what you said is how you said it. It's just, like, so weird. People hating on Huda for, like, any little thing. It's so odd to me. I mean, not just Huda. People are hating on everybody for, like, little reasons. But specifically in this situation, like, how this was being taken, like, wow, like, she's so snotty. Wow, like, why would she say that? You have Chris over here rolling his eyes and laughing when she says that. Like, everybody was making faces and, like, just saying weird stuff. Like, it was just odd, in my opinion. But now let's go into the Shelly and Huda conversation. Specifically, this is about, how do you say, bringing Chris back from Casa. Okay? Now, I feel like this isn't so much, like, as much of an order that I wanted it to be, but we're just gonna have to go with it. Shelly's narrative, Shelly's whole point is, Huda, you said that you wanted to bring Chris back for me, but we all know that it wasn't for me. When we kind of saw, like, we saw this clip, we didn't need the full extended clip to know that Huda brought him back for both of them. When we saw the clip where Huda said, yeah, like, he's showing interest in me. I don't have any connections right now, and I would like to explore that. But also, I know that you like him and you want to further get to know him. Like, what do you think if I bring him back and we can both take advantage of him being in the main house in the villa? Like, that's almost verbatim what she said. And for some reason, Shelly continues bringing up this made-up conversation of, oh, you only said, and you kept saying that it was for me. And, okay, roll the tapes. Like, let's see the full conversation, guys. An extended version is going to drop right now. Open your fucking ears and eyes. Let us know what you think. Everyone watches the full conversation, which is just, like, Huda kind of going in circles about we like him. Let's bring him back and see what happens. I wish that Huda had said, you know, like, if one of us is going to benefit from this. And I feel like right now we're both, like, interested. So, like, let's see what comes out of it, right? Because, like, yes, it's true. She, like, to an extent, she was, like, very clear about, like, I'm doing this for both of us. Where she could have just said, like, you know, at the end, like, I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to end up with him. I feel like Shelly understood, like, I'm doing it, like, because I like him and you also like him. I think, like, she heard, yeah, like, I'll let you have him. I'll bring him just so you can have him. When in reality, like, that's not what it is. And I feel like the only reason I say that is because I feel like Shelly's very, like, self-centered, you know? Every time that there has been conflict and she's part of it, she wants an apology. Every time that there's conflict and she's been part of it, she kind of, like, is looking for a reason for her to be the one that wasn't in the wrong, even though she, like, played a role in, like, whatever issue it might have been, you know what I mean? So I understand how maybe she like was like, yeah, like, that means that she's just bringing him for me so I can, like, you know. It was super weird that she got caught in that line. Everybody said, yeah, like, sounds like Huda was clear, and, like, oh, but no, because, like, Huda, don't you remember that one conversation in the fucking room, like, the makeup room, where you said that even if I said no, you were gonna do it anyway, so because you know that I would want him to be here? It's like, Shelly, yeah, that actually, like, reinforces the idea that she did bring him because, like, she was also thinking about you. So, like, I'm just so, I'm so confused. Like, if you're gonna sit here and try to, like, point the blame at somebody, at least plan these things better, you know? Like, sit down and, like, I remember she did this, and this, do a timeline, sit down, like, have your receipts. Do, like, pull a Janae, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Janae. She's the one that came, like, last year with, like, a fucking, like, printed list of things that she was going to address to Andrea. But whatever. I thought that was super weird. I also feel like bringing back the narrative in the conversation that was also present in the show, a lot of, like, oh, you're not taking accountability, you need to take accountability. Like, how many times does Huda has to be like, I'm sorry, like, I'm learning from my mistakes, like, I can only be a better person if I learn about the things I did wrong in the past? How many times does she have to say that for you to understand that she is trying to take accountability? She has apologized. Everything that she's apologized for, she has not repeated. Like, do you actually want her to, like, be the first person ever to, like, build a time machine, go back in time and undo everything she did? Like, if she did that, by the way, we wouldn't have the entertainment that we had during Love Island. Like, sometimes you need to understand that people do things that you don't necessarily like, or maybe you like somebody more than you thought you did, and, like, you kind of let them get away because you were also, like, caught up with Ace, and, like, oh, well, it is what it is. Like, I'm glad that, like, you know, we tried. It's just, like, it's that easy, you know? I don't understand why there was actually so much back and forth about that. I don't understand why she just, like, won't let it go. I don't, like, it's like what Huda said. We're out of it. You're with your person. Why don't we just put our energy towards that? Like, it didn't work out for us. It worked out for you, though. Like, let's just keep it pushing. And she has to be like, no, I know. I'm focusing on my thing. But it's just like, babe, you keep bringing up another man. Like, you... My Pookie right here, watching, whether you're watching on your phone, your TV, your laptop, iPad, whatever the case might, like, on, what's that called, like, the Samsung fucking fridge screen, if you're watching on that, you imagine that your significant other is still arguing to somebody else because they worked out with a person that they were interested in. How weird is that? That's so odd. So, yeah, of course Huda's gonna be like, just focus on what you have right now, like, let's just let it go. like, I don't know. People found that to be rude of Huda. I think that that's true. I think it's super weird that we're still talking about that. You have your man. Let's just, like, keep it going with him, you know? But whatever. Now, let's talk about the Austin and Jaden conversation. See, we're moving quick because I'm not trying to yap too much today. Thank you very much. Actually, Jaden, I love you, girl, and you're so stunning and beautiful. But, like, he's trying to rage bait, and, like, you're actually taking the bait. And, like, he's trying to make you look dumb, girl. Like, just move on. Like, I understand, like, we already know that he, like, did you dirty. We found out when it happened. I think that, like, in a conversation where you're being asked, like, what happened? What went wrong? Like, where do you guys stand today? When the guy is, like, acting stupid, like, actually, I don't know. After you had a full-blown conversation with him, and then he proceeds to lie about not even opening your messages when he actually did and had a full-blown conversation with you, like, through text. Let it go. Let it go because he doesn't care. And I understand that, like, you're being asked, but you're not talking to the interviewer. You're talking to Austin. And I actually felt so bad for her. But at the same time, did I? Because, like, it's Austin. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's super weird. We're kind of narrowed down to, like, a few more talking points. Which is the Alondra Shelley blaming Huda for people being disgusting and vile online. But this is also coming straight to you with the comment of they both support Sierra and unfollow Huda. Okay, so this is when things get a little serious. This is when things get a little rocky. I'm going to try to keep it short. The more I talk, the more that I keep repeating the same things. And then, like, it just, like, it's a whole bunch of nothing, okay? Huda has a large amount of following online. So we can all agree that she has a platform that she kind of has to monitor in the sense of when she sees her little minions and her little people, which I love Huda, I'm one of the minions. If you want to call me a fucking minion, I don't care. When it comes down to, like, telling her minions, like, y'all need to fucking behave, she has that responsibility of saying that. Right? Do you agree with me? Thank you. I hope you said yes. With that being said, Alondra and Shelley have that same platform, have almost the same amount of following, if not the same amount of following, and they hold the same responsibility to do the same. Correct? I understand that social media gets disgusting, vile, horrible, it gets racist, and that's exactly what happened this season. And I'm not sure that this happened last season. I don't remember this being a conversation, but I do know what I've seen this season. I do know what has been said, and I disagree with all of it. Correct? Now, when it comes down to sitting down and telling somebody, I thought we were friends and you didn't speak up for me, I don't respect that, and I think that, you know, this is hurting me, and I know that you know it's hurting me. I agree. I think when you have a friend, you kind of also hold the responsibility of, like, being supportive towards your friends. But I don't agree with, like, coming so strong in a conversation as serious as this one based just on feelings when there are facts that are being missed and there are facts that are being, like, disregarded. And by that, I mean, Huda went on, I think, like 2 or 3 interviews. And she said, not verbatim, but similar to what I'm about to quote, I love Alondra and I love my girls. And if I'm not, like, hating on them, and if I'm not, like, I don't have any ill will towards them, I don't agree for anybody to have, like, some sort of negative viewpoint towards them, right? And I think that we all need to respect each other. And, like, this, like, y'all need to cut this shit out. I don't stand for the hate. I'm telling you, like, cut it out. Okay. Now, excuse me. Did she use the specific word of, like, stop being racist? No. But there's not just racism going on, right? There's bullying. There's hatred. There's, like, name calling, there's just, like, comparisons, like, trolling, a whole bunch of stuff. So she's calling for an end of all of it. Shelley and Alondra disregard this. Okay. Now you have Alondra, Huda was talking, not quite sure what she was saying specifically. She was talking. Alondra cuts her off and says, okay, but you didn't stick up for me when, like, people were getting racist towards me and Shelly, and that's so dangerous. And Huda says, I was also facing racism. Like, it happened to me, too. And you have her trying to, like, explain, like, whatever she was trying to explain. We don't know because she got cut off a million times. To the point where Huda had to cut somebody off for the first time and the only time during the whole episode, which is crazy because Huda's known for cutting people off. So that therapy is working, or that PR training is definitely working. Kudos to her. Anyway, continuing on. You have Alondra cut her off again to say it wasn't your face plastered on George Floyd's body, all in your face put on the police officer, all over social media. Now let's pause. Disgusting, vile, unnecessary. It's 2025. What the fuck? Yes, I agree with everything. Someone needs to address it, blah, blah, blah. Like, someone needs to address it. We need to sit down and take this shit as serious as it is. We need to have this conversation, but not just to Huda. She doesn't know the people who made that post. She doesn't personally know anybody that's arguing back and forth, right? But on that same note, and Huda didn't throw this at Alondra's face. Huda had pictures of her face put on victims and Shelly and Alondra's face put on the perpetrators too. It's just like, we cannot overlook other people's struggle with racism because we can only see our own. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that was out of touch, out of place, and the denial of Huda going through racism is just as dangerous as they claim Huda's lack of, bringing this topic up and telling people to stop is. It's just as dangerous on both sides. And I'm seeing discourse of this online, but I'm just, like, fed up with this narrative of, like, Huda is responsible for the millions of people that follow her. Yes, she has the responsibility to speak up and say something, but out of the three who have the same platform, who hold the same amount of followers, Huda's the only one who said anything. Mind you, you have Shelly and Alondra unfollow Huda because she didn't speak up well enough for them. Meanwhile, they're both following hate accounts, people who are just saying vile shit about them. Shelly almost went on a podcast with a girl who denied and basically, like, called Huda a liar for her essay story. Hello? Like, it's crazy. And on top of that, they both support Sierra outside of this. So, I just saw somebody's TikTok video about how, unfortunately, this is why any topic around racism is not taken as serious as it should be today, in today's date, because people don't hold every racist to the same standard. It's like people want to either one-up each other, or they, like, deny someone else's struggles because they don't see theirs, they only see their own. It's, like, so disgusting. It's so messy. Not only did we have pictures with Huda's face on it, her daughter was also brought into this. People literally talking about, like, she should go back so she could get bombed or something, or, like, they hate Palestinians because of Huda, or something about her daughter going, like, I literally have the fucking screenshots. And this is, by the way, somebody with their account named Shelly/Olin HQ on Twitter, and it's Shelly's face. And I'm gonna quote this and put it on, like, the screen. Why would y'all vote off Ace and Shelly? And Ace, okay, well, she said Ace twice. When that hood rat Huda was right there, y'all. Sympathize with Huda, fuck Huda and her raggedy ass daughter. Go back to Palestine and get bombed, bitch. Now let's look at another one. Same person, right? Put Huda's face on a rat. And, like, do I have to explain to y'all how that's, like, insensitive? And quoted it, mind you, Palestine teaches people to hate, so it's not surprising that this is why Huda hates Shelly and Alondra. Separate post. Vote Alondra, Nick, and Shelly and Ace. Let's get our black queens on top and get that terrorist rat Huda out of the villa. Different post. Boo-hoo, Huda, you use them white woman tears better than Palestine does. And then you have another person say, I will never support Palestine after watching Huda. It's just like, you know, the same level of vile shit was said about Huda. And it's just like, it's going over so many people's heads. Like, people are denying the fact that that's like, it's even like comparable to what people are saying about Shelly and Huda. Shelly and Alondra. It's just, it's disgusting. It's unfortunate. It's weird. It really is weird. But I mean, I think I said what I needed to say about that. I feel like you can't hold someone to a higher standard that you're holding yourself, especially when you're like in the same platform as them. But let's move on. Jeremiah trolling, 100% Val approved. Let's just say that. I'm so happy he told Ace about himself. Kind of seemed like with Austin. I really like that. Even though Austin was apparently high off his ass, he kind of like trolled Ace a little bit too. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't like seeing Ace on my screen. Just, I feel like he's a despicable person. What can I say? But I really like that Jeremiah like held his own, and I like that he defended himself. I love when people defend themselves, honestly. I really loved that moment where he goes, Ace, does that make sense to you? After he like defined what love bombing is. And you know, at the very end of it all, I feel like it was just an unfortunate waste of fucking 2 hours of my life. This reunion was very centered around like Huda, and like it's just like, I feel like it's fueling the idea that Huda is like their main focus, so much so where like a lot of interviews with the top 4 had Huda's face plastered on the thumbnail, so much so that like, again, like I feel majority of the conversations, like it was like a boomerang, like the questions would go to other people and then like come back to Huda, you know. I wish I saw more like updates on people's lives or whatever. And also, what the fuck is this? Like 2 weeks ago, it's when they like recorded the reunion, and now apparently Iris and Pepe are done. Brian and Amaya are done. I don't know who else. I feel like there's another one that like is like in deep trouble. And also like now you have this. Why are you pushing me? He just pushed me. Then also you have like this interview that's coming out soon, I guess, of like with Chris and this girl like glazing him. This girl like glazing him like, you're a good man and she's such a fucking bitch, and like, yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. I feel like after this though, like I'm definitely done with reality TV. This is why I don't get involved in like anything that's super trending and popular, because I tend to not agree with what a lot of people say. And I only find out like once I get like very into the situation. Then I want to join the social circles, and then I see like, oh, no one agrees with me. Great. But you let me know where you stand. You let me know what your opinions were. I would love to like start a conversation around this. And honestly, I might see you again this week, but for now,